button. And then I think we can jump right in. Yeah, many thanks again for joining. Just to give you the quick tour, EIT Food has is organized around 3 flagship programs in the business creation area. We have for the very early stage entrepreneurs, we offer a program called the Seedbed Incubator, and this is a program specifically for university spin-offs, early stage teams, and mostly these are non-registered companies coming right out of university and looking for market validation, to find out is the product or technology I'm actually developing, is there somebody within the market that is could be a potential customer? Is there something tangible there to really grow and scale your technology, or is it something that is not really accepted by the market? And therefore, any resources or time you invest would be obviously not as much. Would be probably better suited for something else. So that's the basic program for the very early stages. In the later stages, we are working with startups who have already something tangible there, and they are looking to find customers. So they have already successfully completed their market validation, and are now looking for customer access, for POCs, for pilot projects, and are looking to connect with the industry for pilot projects and hopefully commercial agreements as a result. And here we have the EIT Food Accelerator Network. It's a multi-location accelerator program. So we have 7 different hubs spread across Europe. And in each of those hubs, we are able to connect you very closely to the local ecosystem and also the local investor community and SMEs, corporates that are also very much tied to these local ecosystems. And on top, we can obviously make also connections to our corporate network and academic network that we have at EIT Food, and all in an attempt to maximize the chances for successful commercial agreements and market adoption as a result. For the very later stage companies, so you're not talking about startups anymore, but more scale-ups, we offer not so much a program, but more and the opportunity to join a network for a longer period of time. So typically, is rising food stars stay with us for an average 3 years, and here we have again, many different opportunities to connect with the network. To help with those introductions to academia, to the corporate partners, but also to provide very tailored scale-up support. Just muting. And for them, it's really more about, I've identified product market fit in my home market, and I'd like to know more at the moment about how I can actually transfer the product market fit and expand to other countries in Europe or even globally, right? So for them, it's about international expansion, and thanks to the network access that we can provide, but also the introductions to the investor community on a European level, I feel you're very well equipped to actively scale out of your home market to the rest of Europe, even globally. At EIT Food, we found that across all of our programs that we have to offer, these are obviously very much tailored towards training, skills training, and network access. That we have some of those components which are actually something that we can professionalize across all 3 growth stages. So for one, we found that all startups joining EIT Food is looking to have personalized introductions to the industry, but also to get this market exposure. And this is why we've started since last year to drive actively matchmakings between industry and the startups that apply to our programs. That's part of our so-called corporate venturing activities, and all in an attempt to work towards a specific outcome that's right for your current growth stage. Yeah? So it can be in a very early stages, access to experts, to strategic advisors. So many of those that you see here on the slide are looking to give actually active feedback to early stage teams, to connect with them early on, to help with market validation and making the right introductions. But they are equally interested to run proof of concepts, which hopefully result in pilot projects and customer connections as a result. And what we see also more increasingly now is strategic investments that are done by our corporate partners in startups. I think only last year it's also some very big investments that were made, for instance, by PepsiCo in AirUp. It's a German startup, spin-off out of TUM University. I think they invested 18 million, and also in Deep Branch Biotech, another startup from the accelerator from 2019. Here we had DSM investing in an 8 million seed round. So there is a lot of traction at the moment around startup corporate collaboration, and I feel that our programs provide this unique platform where you can actively engage with the industry. I think that's one of the big selling points. And EIT Food itself has also started to invest actively in companies. So starting from the pre-seed stage. So if you're a seedbed alumni, for instance, you get to the spotlight of our investment team. And the same is true for the accelerator startups and the rising food stars. EIT Food can invest up to 300,000 euros, either via SafeNote or by participating directly in the investment round. And we also work together with Peakbridge Partners who operate for us pre-seed fund. It's called the Food Sparks Fund. And here again, all of our alumni become not only alumni, but also our program participants become privileged access to this fund. And it's obviously a unique opportunity as well to get to some capital. And last but not least, we have obviously a great overview and coverage of the European investor community scene, and are making a lot of introductions to the European venture capital community. For instance, last year we've run an investment forum in Madrid in Spain as part of the accelerator, where we had more than 30 VCs in the room who were then listening to all the pitches. It is obviously easier to make personalized introductions and connections there, instead of sending anonymized pitch decks to email addresses. You have the faces right to the names, right? So it's obviously a unique way we can get you exposure, and also how we broker those connections that are extremely valuable. So that's one. I'm just looking at the chat. There was one question around Play, Blueberry. Okay, but yeah, it sounds like a good fit. I mean, I am not sure where the hesitation comes from specifically. Maybe it's something we can also discuss offline or after our call. It's happy to do so. But from what I read here in the chat, it's not a major deterrent in my opinion. So I would definitely encourage you to apply. That's in a nutshell the overview. And I would suggest to jump right into the application process. And I feel one of the major things and one of the major tips I can give you right away is know your customer. Yeah. So it sounds so easy and everybody's startup does it, but at times it's also very not much transparent who sits on the other end, right? So I can tell you for EIT Food, we have a diverse evaluator pool. So we look very specifically on the distribution of male, female. And we also are very much proud of a diverse evaluator base coming from the industry. So these are industry experts coming not only from our partner network, but also other companies who are not yet part of the EIT Food network or who are associated with the EIT Food network. Second, these are investors, mainly not venture capital partners, but more the analysts, the investment managers who are looking actively for new opportunities. Then we have, and this is where I'm actually quite proud about, we have also quite a lot of alumni joining us in the online evaluation. And finally, it's a more broader mix of mentors who are actively have been part of the program previously, consultants, experts, academics. So it's a more mixed group that would make up the fourth pillar in the end. Okay, then we have then we know roughly our customer. Yeah, so it's a rough it's a rough estimate who it is, and I wouldn't assume that they have very much an in-depth knowledge of what specific sector you're in and what drives your specific business model, right? So they look at it more from a bird's eye view, meaning their job in the first instance is to tell apart the good startups from the great startups. And this is the way we brief them as well. So they should look out for any red flags that we may see. Red flags could be potentially regulatory issues. We see that these certain business models might have already been employed before and are copying. They are not relying on innovative enough technology. So all these are potentially red flags that we ask our evaluators to take into account, and they score each application based on a series of criteria. These are, on the one hand side, quantitative criteria, but also they give us qualitative feedback. In a nutshell, it looks like this. So startups that evaluators that we have in our pool are all filling out the same questions across all the programs. Yeah. So first of all, they tell us if there is a potential conflict of interest. So they will see from you the name and a link to your homepage, if there is any. Yeah. And we ask them right away, do you have a potential conflict of interest? And only if they say no, only then they would actually see the rest of the application fields that you filled. Huh? And the way we check whether you're a good fit for our programs or a good fit overall for for the next evaluation stage, to advance to the next evaluation stage, is based on for 5 criteria. So 4 is more about the business model itself, and the 5th one is a general recommendation. Yeah, so we would start first with it's more a classical criteria, problem solution fit. So the question is, are you really solving a relevant problem, and is the solution you're offering actually a good solution to make an impact in this particular area? So that's the first question. Second, we check for innovative potential. That's another big one. And then we want to understand a bit more about your business model and the current stage you're in. Yeah? So what kind of traction have you made to date? What's the business model? Is it promising? Are there any big roadblocks or hurdles already clearly observable? Then another big one for us is that, does the solution fit to EIT Food and our impact goals? So as you may have heard already, EIT Food is looking to make our food system more sustainable, trusted, and healthier. So everything that would actually not be in line with these objectives could be already immediately ruled out. So we obviously looking not to make any consumer products that are making our lives, our products even, or creating even unhealthier solutions as what we have currently in place. So everything that would, and also alcohol, would be outside of our scope. So these are the criteria we would look at first, and then we would ask each evaluator to tell us very specifically, do you think this company is a good fit? Yeah? Do you think there's something we could support this company with when they are in our programs? And it's more a sanity check as well to see if the if each of the different components of your business, so product, business model, and the field you're operating in is in line, and it's a kind of way to double check whether the assessment of each individual component is actually in line with their general assessment of your company. So that's the more scoring numeric part. And then we also ask directly for feedback. So on the one hand side, we encourage them very much to give you direct feedback. So this is an open question which we will have this year in a very structured format. So we will ask each evaluator to tell us the 3 positives and 3 things to improve on per application they will read. So in order to make this more guided, we felt in the past we left it up very much to chance for them to provide feedback, but I feel more guidance is needed. So hopefully as a result, we will have also the opportunity to give you direct feedback that's really valuable. And second, they are obviously encouraged to share feedback with us internally. And what's new this year is that we also want to broker already connections between the evaluator pool and the applicants. So if a company, for instance, sees an amazing application they immediately like and want to curious about, they have the opportunity to tell us, I want to learn more about this company, and then we would make an introduction. But we would keep it obviously, we would keep it very much limited to the investors and the corporates. So I don't want to, don't want to have this open to everybody, because sometimes consultants might not be the best, it might not be the best forum for them to make these connections, right? So I want to be useful, and so it should be primarily limited to the corporates and to the investors to make those connections as part of the evaluation. So that's in a nutshell how the questions are summed up. And I feel, given what we've learned now, it's time to walk through the process and learn a bit step by step what should be done, what to fill in each of the fields. And I'm happy to stop here and share another screen, which you can see here in a second. Here we are. Perfect. Everybody can see the screen? Okay, that's probably not the right one. Sorry, it was not the right one. Too many tabs open. I think it's this one. So that looks better. Perfect. So the starting point is obviously the EIT Food entrepreneurship website. I think you all have the links by now, and should have been already seeing or browsing through the site. So if you want to learn more about the programs, here we have each of the flagship programs have a dedicated site. We've also meanwhile populated the community a bit more, so it's all in the making, but we have started now to post more and more articles, blog articles there as well, around topics of interest, alumni spotlights, and also some tips on pitching, or which areas are particularly interesting, for instance, for our industry partners or local hubs. So that's all up there. We also have a dedicated site on investment opportunities. And if you're convinced this is something you would like to apply for, then you would obviously start to join, and start join the community. That's the first step. And it starts with filling in your first name, last name, and email address. And then you would also give yourself a password, confirm it, enter the name of your startup company or project. Tell us a bit more about whether you want to be up to date regarding newsletters, events, other opportunities, or if you sign up before we have even an application period open, you can also manage your settings here, and then you would click join. And the first step is always to join this community, right? you would join a community. I've already signed up before, so I'm actually already happy that I've received this email from EIT Food, where I'm asked to confirm my email address, so to activate my account. And based on this activation of the account, I can then log in with my login details. Already done it before, so yeah, that's the first step. So you would, after confirm your email address, log in for the first time, and what you're seeing here is your own community dashboard, because it's obviously important that you are in full control of the data you share, of the about the information you share, but also to be able to actively contribute to the community by suggesting articles, publishing own articles, participating in training, and any other sort of community activity. But to draw your attention, to the thing you are probably here for, it's to apply for one of the programs in the first place. And this is this can be done easily by clicking on the apply tile here. And you will then be guided to our first part of the application process, which is then to check if you are eligible, but also for which program you are actually eligible. Because what we receive quite frequently as a question is, I like what I can see here, but I feel I'm actually quite between seedbed and the EIT fan program, for instance, or I'm not really sure whether I should apply for Rising Food Stars or EIT fan. So these are questions we receive quite a lot. And to guide you a bit more through the process, we have started to implement this eligibility check. And also it only serves as a recommendation in a way, right? Because you start applying to one program, but if we feel, for instance, that after the online evaluation, you are already too advanced for a certain program, or you might fit another program even better, then we would offer you also the opportunity to reassociate with another program, right? So there's no need to reapply again, but we can actually reshuffle and reassign you behind the scenes to another program. Plus the application questions you will see in a second will also be identical throughout the program. So they are not really that much different. That's easy to compare also the scores and the results in the end. So again, no harm done, but for you, it's obviously that you are still maintaining all the chances to be considered for all the programs. So let's start with the eligibility check. It's for one important that you let us know that you are located in the EU or one of the associated countries. When you click here, you see the full list. It's the 27 member states, including the so-called EU associated countries, such as Israel, who else is there? Turkey, Tunisia, Switzerland, the United Kingdom. Yeah, those are what we call the EU associated countries, and for them, we can offer the support, including the grants that we give, and also the training support, and only those we can actually admit to the programs. So that's an important one. So are the terms and conditions and the privacy policy. So only if you accept those, you can actually start with the application itself. That's the name of my company, right? So Superfood 123, and I have also some address, and I'm based in a city, and I have also a state I belong to, and a zip code as well, and a country. And here you can actually double check, obviously, that you are in one of the countries that are considered eligible. You give us some more information about the day you were founded. So you founded your company, and then we want to sanity check to which program you might be the best fit to, right? So it starts with the stage of your solution, your technology. Obviously, the earlier you are, in terms of development, the more suited, obviously, for seedbed, versus the more advanced, obviously, the more suited you are for Rising Food Stars. So it's, I guess, quite pretty much straightforward. just base it on real. We try to make it as easy and clearly observable as possible, right? So we look only at stage, number of employees, revenues, and funding. And number of employees for us are obviously the project team members or employees. We don't look at interns, we don't look at part-time employees, but for us it's really important to check whether you already have staff or not. Okay, but if you still have a technology, you still have a product, right? So, or a service. And if you have already sales, then you are more in the last category. If you just have a concept, yeah, or for instance, you're just experimenting with something, so you have only a lab proof concept, you are obviously in the very beginning, yeah. So this way, I feel you can sort yourself in the different stages. That should be totally possible. We have obviously a revenue category, which is self-explaining, and the last funding round. For us, I think there's obviously a lot of different information going around at the moment. What is grant? What is Series A? What's pre-seed? So just to give you some more background behind the funding round. So for us, grant can be local funding as well. So it doesn't have to be EU funding. It can be, for instance, if you're a local state government gives out grant money, it can be considered here. Or even if you have like close contacts to foundations, that would be also falling under the grant category. Pre-seed seed funding for us is everything between 100,000 euros to 500,000. That's like the seed round. Series A starting from 500,000 upwards towards 15, 20 million. That's Series A, and everything above would be for us beyond Series A, so Series B, C. And if you don't have any funding at all, then you obviously click the doesn't apply. But yeah, website link, that's clear too, I guess. And then we come to, and just to have a look that I filled everything. Then we come to the next stage, and is you have probably read about the homepage and you have already an idea in mind what might be the program that you actually consider applying to. Then we have here again like a quick sanity check. You really confirm to us that you meet all the criteria, yeah, and we can double check with the numbers we've put up earlier. Then you would decide, yeah, I would like to go to the accelerator, and I also confirm that all the different points listed below apply. I would write a quick sentence about why I would like to join. So what's my motivation to join? Is it to become investment ready? Is it to become pilot ready? Is it to get access to the network? Is it mentoring? Is it training? Is it access to infrastructure? And it can be really short and concise, right? So we don't look for essays here. It can be a few bullets. That's already more than enough. We need to know. And what's also important, each of the programs obviously have a specific time commitment that we ask for. We know you are all super busy, so we keep it obviously to the bare minimum. So even, for instance, the accelerator is a 4-month acceleration program. It does not mean that you have to relocate to another country. It doesn't mean you need to be there all the time. For instance, in the accelerator, it's only 30 days of content, yeah, meaning training sessions, on-site events, mentoring, and all of it doesn't consume more than 30 days. And also knowing very much that you're all busy, and so we really like to keep it to a minimum, yeah? But rather bringing it, making it as useful as possible. So that's what you need to commit as well. And I have as a last question then, if you have, for instance, a priority to go to the seedbed incubator or the accelerator, an opportunity to also tell us to which hub location you want to go to. Yeah? In the accelerator, you can tell us to which hub location you want to go to. In the seedbed incubator, you are more or less already predetermined based on the location you're in. So all the different hubs are actually split up by geographical locations. but in the accelerator, you're pretty much free to choose wherever you see the most fit for you. And it's it's times some of our applicants or previous cohort members use it also as an opportunity to tap into very specific local ecosystems. So we saw, for instance, in the previous years that quite a lot of startups, for instance, from Eastern Europe, from the Netherlands, from neighboring countries, applied to Munich, for instance, because they wanted to have access to the German market. And this is, I feel, one of the big advantages that you have within the EIT Food network, that you can actually tap into these different ecosystems and use it for getting inside knowledge into those markets, right? And getting those valuable connections on the ground with investors, with mentors, with people who can help you with understanding local legislation, local regulatory frameworks, also helping you set up those initial tests needed. For instance, consider if you're an AgTech startup based in the southern region of Europe, climatic conditions are way different in the northern parts, right? So if you bearing this in mind, it could make sense if you're thinking about entering a specific market to go first through the accelerator, and then having there the local connections needed to test your product, to validate your technology on the ground, and making a case for yourself to be part of this particular program. So that's one, and we ask you to join. Tell us your first and second hub priority. In the past, we usually managed to give every applicant the first choice. So the second one is really just to be safe. And we want to know, obviously, have you participated in one of the EIT Food programs before? If so, we would like to know, obviously, because it helps us better understand the journeys as well. As some of the programs are not linked to each other, right? So it's not a precondition to be an EIT fan startup before you can enter in the Rising Food Stars. And likewise, it's not needed to be a seedbed alumni before considered being eligible for the EIT fan. So if you have filled all the fields and you confirm that you have presented the information in the fields to the best of your knowledge, you are then welcome to submit. And as in this next step, you will, by hopefully any chance very soon, see to which program you are eligible to apply. And again, it's a sanity check, right? So we check the information you provide on the different elements, right? So funding round, revenue, stage of development, together with the stage you have actually intended to which program you intended to apply, right? So if there is a misalignment, we would obviously tell you, please consider maybe the seedbed incubator, or you're not eligible anymore for the accelerator, please move on to Rising Food Stars. So that's how it works. And it tells you, there's a next step to get going with the application, because it's about time. You are eligible. The applications are only open until February 28th. So as a result, by filling in the eligibility form, you will receive another email to your account where you can then log into the application portal. And I feel what's very important is, obviously, if you don't receive a link and you have checked your spam folder, please reach out to us. And there is another and there is obviously an opportunity here to contact us directly, right? And then we are happy to resend you or assist you if you're facing any problems. And if you've received the link, you are then clicking on the link and end up on the EIT Food application portal, right? So after clicking on the link, you are then asked to put in your password. If you have forgotten your password, you can obviously renew it. And can click the "Forgot my password" button. And if you're facing any other issues, please contact us again. These things happen. For instance, if you have activated a VPN client, or you're using a browser that is maybe not Google Chrome, Firefox, or one of the usual ones. So as soon as we have we have seen quite a few issues there, but usually they are resolved very quickly, and we are happy to assist you here. So once you log in to the EIT Food application portal, first thing you see is your application dashboard, and it automatically creates an application for you, right? So for here, I'm in the draft mode, yeah, and I can click here and see all my applications, or go directly to my application. And if you have already started to work on an application in the past, and this is true especially for the EIT fan startups, yeah, because these were the only ones who were actually already using the EIT Food application portal last year. They have an option here to actually pre-fill their application, yeah, with the contents they provided last year. So it might be a good starting point to just click pre-fill my application, and you have already contents there that you put last year, and you can just update what you've put there. It's probably already a good head start. But the way it's set up in the application portal and the questions you need to answer, it's very much mirroring what I showed you a bit earlier on with the different evaluation criteria, right? So it starts with the big topic of problem solution fit, and we would like to know how advanced you are already with the solution, and whether the solution you are looking to provide is actually delivering impact. And one of the big takeaways, in my opinion, when reading, and I've been also evaluating quite a lot in the past, and I get frequent feedback from evaluators, one of the things that they read quite frequently, and I can assure you each evaluator will look at probably 10, 15 applications. After a certain time, it gets really frustrating and depressing if they have to read all the time that our food system is broken, yeah, and that there is a certain solution for it, because it's in a way a question of flight height, in my opinion. Yeah, so I feel that many of you provide very tailored or targeted solutions for specific problems within our food system, but the big challenges can only be solved together, right? So it's in a way a question of how you frame your problem. And if you are too broad or too generic, and then it's not really helping the cause, in a sense that that evaluators might question whether you have already done enough research or have already enough understanding of what your problem actually is. And we tried in the application form or in the application portal to already give you some guidance with specific recommendations what to put here. Yeah, if you have already metrics in place that can demonstrate how important the problem is you're trying to solve, it already helps. And we are not expecting big surveys and essays here. I think the golden rule is indeed to be short and concise. And by short and concise, I don't mean just sending us some bullets, but to provide the essential information to understand that you have already made some efforts to understand the problem that you are really trying to solve, and have done some research around it. And it clearly shows, and each of the evaluators always confirms it. It's really not about the length of each of the sections. It's really about, are the essential points covered? And if so, just to give you a rough idea, if you are filling more than 150, 200 words, it's way too long. So that should be like the maximum amount of words to put in each of the sections. So less than 150 words, not characters, but words. Yeah, so it's not the Twitter format, but word format. That should be more than enough in each of the sections to highlight the problem, but also the solution you're trying to offer for this problem. And finally, what makes you special about it, right? And in each of the sections, you find some guidance of what to put there, and what is also best practice, in my opinion, because what I've learned in the past is that the system can auto log you out after 3 hours. So it's wise to start by copying the questions, and start working on a separate Word document. Or in the past, you've already filled out you've already quite some experience with filling applications, and you have obviously a business plan, or you have already written these kind of information texts anyways 1,000 of times, so you have already a standard doc that you can use. Then copy paste them in each of the sections, but always bear in mind that there is a specific target audience, right? And in our case, it's diverse, and it's looking to tell apart good from great applicants in a way that they can help shaping a better food system in the end, right? So it's a very targeted audience, but it helps obviously to bear in mind short and concise, and we work in a separate document. That's my recommendations here. And as I said, one of the criteria is problem solution fit. The other one is innovative potential. So is there something that's really standing out and it makes you special? And the way we check it as well is by seeing whether there are any intellectual property rights in place. So it can be one of these three options, right? Either you have no IPR in place, then I would encourage you to mention it as such, but you might have still some other rights, like brand rights or logos, trademarks, and it's something to mention here. And what's equally important is to also let us know who is the owner of those IP rights, because it could be that there might be it could be that there are obviously different organizations behind it, which again would be something as a result to clarify whether it's all whether it's all conform with the rules and the terms and conditions. So please mention here, who else is the owner of it? Is it still the university? Is it the spin-off? Is it the PhD student? At times these things are a bit tricky, so we want to be sure that we are actually working with the owner, or there's a clear understanding of who is actually the owner. So that's the important one. And following innovative potential, which is basically question 3 and question 4, we want to learn more about the stage you're at. So in the beginning, in the eligibility check, you already provided us some more information around your business model, where the hard metrics like revenues, like amount of funding, stage of development. But what we haven't really learned yet is how you are looking to commercialize your idea. So what's your go-to market strategy? What are the key components of your business model? And the reasoning behind it is to understand the current stage of your business. So if I would very much encourage you to be as open about it as possible, so you don't need to sell us the future. It's important to understand where you're now, in order to help you at your current level of development. So if you are like over promising your current stage, it really doesn't help, because we might feel that there is no work to be done in a way. And it obviously lowers then your chances to get in. But on the other hand, if there's for the current stage of your business not much in place yet, in terms of you haven't really thought about your competitors, or you're working already for 10 years on your product, but there are no sales yet. It can also create obviously a bad impression if it's not if the product and the stage that you've provided previously is not really fitting to the descriptions and the information you provided this section, right? So it's an honest assessment of the stage of your business as of now, and it's divided in these different components. So on one hand side, the business model, the business economics, but also you would like to learn more about your go-to-market strategy and how you would quantify your target market. Again, if you're currently dealing with market research, if you're currently dealing with market validation, this is obviously something that you are currently looking to solve, right? So what's the feedback of the customers? Can I quantify the feedback of my potential customers? What's the feedback on my technology in the first place? That's your current stage, right? But if you are looking to apply to the Rising Food Stars or the EIT Food Accelerator, this is information you should have readily available. And the more clarity you can provide on these outcomes, the better, obviously, and it works clearly in your favor if you have already potential commercial agreements in place with local industry, SMEs around the corner. If you have made already an effort to talk to them, and they are convinced about your product and your offering, and are giving you, for instance, a letter of intent or an MOU to collaborate with you in the future, right? So these are strong signals that really go into your favor in a way. And last but not least, in order to achieve impact, it's important that the solution you can provide is actually scalable, right? So something we are also very keen to learn is your future plans on how to scale your business and how certain solutions can be actually applied in a broad variety of markets, internationally in a very broad span. It's not something that's really very niche and very much limited to a certain group of customers, but we are looking for mass market applications and technologies that can really be adopted by a broad variety of people. And we believe this is the clear way towards achieving broad impact and big impact. So that's the next section. And if you have filled those, I feel again, short and concise. This is the goal here as well. So not about writing big essays, but really giving an honest assessment of where your current, what's the current stage in your development. That's the goal here, and what are your future plans. And if you fill those, you can advance to the next slide. And on the next slide, we ask you a bit more about your team, right? Because once we know the problem you're dealing with, the solution you have to offer, and where you're at the moment, we want to double check that the right team is actually in place to execute, right? So, and whether there are any red flags in the team composition. Obviously, if you are in the seedbed stage, for instance, in the very early stages, it's important to know that there are deficiencies, or there are certain team members missing who bring certain competencies, certain skills. So it's again very, very important to be open about the shortcomings as well. And for the more advanced companies that are applying for Rising Food Stars, or for the EIT Food Accelerator, it's obviously an important double check that all the important skills needed or competence needed are in place. And the way we do it is by having a good variety of different factors considered. One is obviously, is this a full-time job for you? Is it a full-time passion, or are you working part-time? Are you currently in the spin-off process? So that could be an option too. What's your previous entrepreneurial experience? Do you have relevant experience in the sector? What's your role in the team? All of these information are important to consider, and you can give it for all of your team members. And on top, you also check for diversity, right? So it's something that's not not influencing a decision directly, but we are actively monitoring that we are not discriminating against gender, nationality, and age, right? So it's something to be very mindful too, that you have an honest assessment there. Last about this team section is the last part that is dealing with the ways of working. For instance, how long you work already actively together on the concept. Then we have something in place here again, about whether you feel all the competences and skills are prevalent in your team or anything is needed, right, to advance to the next level. And as mentioned earlier, the more open, honest you can tell us where you are currently at, obviously the better we are able to make an assessment whether we are able to support you. And same is true here for the missing skills part. So that's the team scale section, and we have another one that is explicitly for those who are looking to raise funds. So if you are interested in investment opportunities, that is, if you're interested that EIT Food maybe participates in your next investment round or actively invests in your company, then you need to click yes here. The information you provide here helps our investment team to understand whether they want to follow up with you directly, meaning requesting additional information such as a pitch deck. Usually they will schedule a call and quick intro call to better understand and clarify a few points, and where you're currently at and how much you're actually looking to raise and under which conditions, and then they would take the next steps from there. The information you provide here on the investment opportunities could be also shared with our Food Sparks team. So the pre-seed fund that is managed by Peakbridge Partners. And if you are looking to get connected also to the European investor community, it's something that we could also share with them. Obviously, this is depending on your consent, right? So that's the investment opportunities possible here. And it's in a nutshell, there are some more questions around your current financial situation. We want to learn more about your runway, how much capital you have. You have to maintain operational, to be continued operational of a certain time, right? So what are your next milestones? What are your plans for the next 3 years? But also how much funding you actually need for the next 3 years, right? So to just have a good understanding of your current financial situation and what you're looking for to raise in the next 6 months, and what's your structure and of team, and are there regulatory barriers to consider. So these are all pretty much the standard questions to providers about investments, to already screen out if there are any potential hurdles, or to clarify anything that might impede an investment as well. So if you're interested in investment opportunities, you click yes and give the additional answers. If you click no for now, it doesn't exclude you for any, if you change your mind in the next 6 months, right? So the option is pretty much still will be still available. So some of, as I mentioned earlier, there are different formats that we run with our investor community, for instance, or also with our investment team, and they will still consider you as part of the program for those activities. Yeah, so you're not missing out if you click no here. It's just a quick and easy access to the whole investment team, right? And if you are urgently or already starting to raise a round, here is basically the easy and quick access for it. And once you are done with the whole investment part, we already at the last section, and it's needed for the accelerator companies to post also a quick video pitch. And again, we don't expect something crazy here. So if you have already a video shot from the past, for instance, if you have if you've already done a crowdfunding campaign and you have a video there, or you have a quick, you quickly film it on PowerPoint, that you walk us through your pitch deck with a video, that's totally enough. I would not upload any video that's longer than 5 minutes. So it should be, again, very short and concise. And the main objective here is to give the evaluator a teaser, to give them a short good impression of who you are and what you're doing. Yeah, so that's the objective here. And some can do it in an elevator pitch of 90 seconds. Others need a bit more time for it. Both is fine. And it's merely an exercise that should help everyone to better understand who you are, what you're doing, and what makes you special, right? So that's the objective here. And the more you can actually, make them curious about this yourself, I think the better your chances in the end. And once you're done with uploading, you confirm that all the information you've provided is to your best knowledge, and then we are good to go and can submit. This is actually the last page you will see. Yeah, so just to confirm, you submit, and then you will receive a confirmation email at the end. Yeah, that was the quick walk around. If I would sum it up, I feel the most important, and I've seen a lot of applications. I think what already could make you stand out is to bear in mind who's your customer, and to bear in mind that these are all busy people. They would like to know in very few words what you're all about. And it's really not about revealing your secret sauce or your magic, right? And I would very much advise you to not reveal any information that you deem proprietary, that you find might be conflicting. It's not needed at this stage. Yeah, it's really just to give a bird's eye view about yourself, about your business, and the current stage you're in, and to see whether there's a fit with the EIT Food network, whether there's fit with the partner network, and whether we are able to support you in the first place. Yeah, so being honest about the current stage you're in, but also about your shortcomings really helps at this stage, because the ones that are standing out, in my opinion, are the ones that are able to provide this information in a very short and effective way. And so I feel it can be really done also very quickly. Not sure, I have to check the chat. Are there any questions? Everybody happy? Cool. Yeah, if there are any more questions, just let me know. I can also post my email address in the chat if you should have it by now already. But if you have any questions that are maybe upcoming, I'm happy to answer them. And looking very much forward to your applications. I hope it was useful to you guys. If there's anything that needs further clarification, happy to answer them either now or sometime later.
Well, thank you, Christoph. It was really helpful. I managed to fill in my application and after your clarification. So thank you so much for the session.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining. And fingers crossed. A question that I also receive quite frequently is, what are my chances to get in? Yeah, and this is really an impossible question for me to answer in a way, because all of our programs are obviously competitive, right? And it's difficult to tell you what is needed to be considered one of the best 120 companies is, for instance, shortlisted to advance the second evaluation round, because it depends in the end on the number of applications. But I feel if you take some of the advice I've gave you today by heart, you will be fine. You know, you have already a huge advantage.
Yeah, true. Cool. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.
You too, Christoph.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.